Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to tackle a massive, honestly life-changing truth about human nature today. As an 8th grader, you're learning some incredibly complex stuff: math, science, history. But today we're looking at a foundational spiritual truth that literally underpins absolutely everything else you will ever learn. We're talking about the ultimate equalizer of humanity. So let's jump right in.
Let me ask you something, and I really want you to think about it. Can anyone be perfectly good? Have you ever tried to be perfectly good for just one single whole day? I mean, a day without one bad thought, no complaining when you're asked to do your chores, not letting even a tiny bit of gossip slip out in the hallway, or having zero jealousy over a friend's new shoes. It's kind of impossible, right? We might manage an hour, maybe 2 if we're really lucky, but eventually our human nature trips us up. Well, today we're going to unpack exactly why that happens and what it actually means for where we stand with God. Here's our roadmap for today. 1, the great equalizer. 2, no one is righteous. 3, sin affects everything. 4, everyone needs Jesus. And 5, the godly learner. Part 1, the great equalizer. We are all on level ground. It is so easy to fall into that classic middle school trap of comparing ourselves to others. We look around the classroom and think, well, hey, at least I'm not doing what they're doing. Or I get better grades, so I must be doing something right. But the Apostle Paul totally shatters this whole comparison game in the book of Romans. Back then, people were strictly divided. You had the Jews, who had God's law. They were the ultimate rule followers, and the Gentiles, who didn't have the law and were basically viewed as the rule breakers. But Paul drops a total bombshell. Both groups are equally under sin. So whether you consider yourself a quote-unquote good kid who always turns in homework, or maybe more of a troublemaker who sees the inside of the principal's office, guess what? The ground at the foot of the cross is completely flat. The big takeaway here: human superiority is just a myth. No group of people is somehow inherently better than another before God. You don't get a head start on being right with God just because of your background, how well you follow the rules, or what your reputation is at school. Standing before a perfect, holy God, every single one of us is in the exact same boat. Everyone has sinned. Period. Moving on to part 2. No one is righteous. The harsh but absolutely necessary truth. Now, I know this is a tough pill to swallow, but it is so essential if we're going to live in reality. Let's look at Romans 3:10, our memory verse for today. As it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. To be righteous means to be in a perfectly right standing with God, to be morally flawless. And here's the thing: God doesn't grade on a curve. His standard isn't mostly good. His standard is absolute perfection. And this verse hits the nail on the head. Absolutely nobody can earn that right standing just by trying really hard to be good. Not you, not me, not even the nicest person you can possibly think of. No, not one. Which brings us to part 3, sin affects everything, the total impact on our lives. So if we aren't perfectly righteous, what's actually the problem here? How deep does this really go? Well, Paul breaks down exactly how this sin infection spreads inside of us. It's not just a simple mistake like tripping in the hallway. It's a universal condition. Look at these 4 steps. First, it infects the heart, our hidden motives, our secret thoughts, our jealousies. Second, it creeps into our words. Think about how insanely easy it is for a lie, a harsh joke, or some gossip to just slip out. Third, it hits our actions, the things we physically do that we know we shouldn't be doing. And fourth, it affects the whole way people live. It literally shapes our entire lifestyle. Sin is a total head-to-toe infection. So I want you to ask yourself a pretty heavy question right now. If sin affects our heart, our words, our actions, and our whole lifestyle, and if no one is righteous on their own, what hope do we actually have? It's like being stuck in a massive deep pit with no ladder, no rope, and zero upper body strength. You just can't save yourself. Really understanding this total impact of sin, it forces us to realize we desperately need an outside rescue plan. And that leads us perfectly to part 4. Everyone needs Jesus, the ultimate solution. Since there is absolutely no way we can bridge that massive gap to God by ourselves, we need a savior. Picture a huge crowd of people standing under these words. I'm talking people from every country, every background, the rule followers, the rule breakers, the straight-A students, and the class clowns. Every single one of us needs Jesus. Why? Because Jesus Christ is the absolute only way any of us can receive righteousness. He came and lived the perfect life we couldn't pull off, a life completely free from that sin infection in his heart, his words, and his actions. He actually met that impossible standard of perfection. And the amazing part? When we trust in him, he literally trades our sinful record for his perfect righteousness. You can't earn it. It's a completely free gift. Finally, part 5, the godly learner. Why this matters for your education right now. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, this is some great theology, but what does this have to do with me sitting in math class on a Tuesday? Well, let's connect this deep spiritual truth right to your everyday life. Here at HeroesMart Academy, we purposely intertwine biblical morality with your education for one massive reason. Education without biblical morality can actually hurt you. Seriously, think about it. If you get incredibly smart and highly capable in science or tech, but you have zero moral compass to guide how you use those skills, you could cause a lot of damage to yourself and the world around you. Romans 8:6-7 actually teaches us that setting the mind on the flesh is death, but keeping your mind spiritually focused leads to life and peace. A brilliant mind without God is just a lost mind, but a brilliant mind fully surrendered to God, now that is a powerful tool for good. And honestly, that is the exact definition of a godly learner. Gaining knowledge shouldn't just make you a more capable human. It has to be paired with biblical morality so you can make wise, righteous choices in literally everything you do. A godly learner goes hard after academic excellence. You absolutely should study hard and do your best. But you do it while keeping your mind totally centered on God, seeking biblical truth, and making God-honoring choices. Your math skills, your writing, your reading comprehension, these are all tools God gave you to serve him and to serve other people. So as we wrap this explainer up, I want to leave you with a real challenge. You know now that you can't be perfectly righteous on your own. We all need Jesus. And as an 8th grade student whose mind is just getting sharper and sharper every single day, you've got a choice to make. Are you going to use your intelligence this week just to show off, get ahead, and build up your own glory? Or will you let your growing capabilities be guided by God's wisdom, walking as a godly learner who actually brings life and peace to your classroom? The choice is completely yours. Keep your mind centered on truth, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.